So how do we go about solving a polynomial equation in general? We know that polynomial equations typically have more than one solution. How do we go about finding them? Well, suppose we encounter a polynomial equation written in this form. X minus 2 times x plus 1 times 2x plus 3 equals 0. So on one side of our equation, we have a polynomial factored into a product of linear binomials. And on the other side of the equation, we have 0. When we meet a polynomial equation written in this form, it's pretty easy to solve, isn't it? We use the zero property of multiplication and say, if when we multiply these three numbers together we get 0, one of them has to be 0. So either x minus 2 is 0, x plus 1 is 0, or 2x plus 3 is 0. Well, we know what to do now. We can solve this equation. We can solve this equation. We can solve this equation with another step. And we find that this polynomial equation has exactly three solutions, namely x equals 2, -1, or -3/2. This form of a polynomial equation, where on one side we have a polynomial factored into a product of linear binomials, and on the other side we have 0, this is called factored form. And when we encounter a polynomial equation in factored form, we know how to solve it. And it's just this way. Remember how I said that the zero property of multiplication is a big deal? It's vitally important that one side of this equation be specifically the number 0. Not any other number, not any variable expression, specifically the number 0, because only 0 has this property. Since the product is 0, at least one factor is 0. So, to solve the equation, we set each factor to 0. That gives us a linear equation, which we know how to solve. And we solve that linear equation. Once the polynomial equation is in factored form, we can solve it real easily. So let me show you another example, and then I'll give you one to try. Suppose we want to solve the polynomial equation x times x minus 2 squared times 3 minus 5x equals 0. Since this product is 0, at least one of the factors must be 0. So maybe x is 0. X minus 2 is actually two of the factors, right? But either way, x minus 2 could be 0, or 3 minus 5x could be 0. All right, well, this one's already solved. That's pretty easy. Here we'll add 2 on both sides and get x is 2. Here we'll subtract 3 and get -5x equals -3. We'll divide by -5 and we'll get x equals -3 over -5 is +3/5. Once we have the polynomial equation in factored form, solving is really easy. I'm going to give you one of these to try. Solve this equation. Pause the video and try it now. All right, again, since the product is 0, one of the factors must be 0. So either 4x minus 1 is 0, 4 minus x is 0, or 2x plus 9 is 0. Let's see, here we'll add 1 to both sides. We get 4x is 1. Divide both sides by 4. We'll get x is 1/4. Here, there are different things we could do to solve, but I think the easiest thing is to add x to both sides. We'll get 4 equals x. So that's x equals 4, because equals signs work both ways. Here we'll subtract 9 from both sides, divide both sides by 2, and we'll get x is negative 9/2. You can give this answer as a decimal or a mixed number if you really like. Our solutions then are x equals 1/4, 4, or negative 9/2.